Yo, listen up. This ain't your regular crypto bedtime story, bro. This is straight up fire. Filecoin just dropped a bombshell, and the market doesn't even realize what's coming. Billions of tokens are getting burned, whales are moving in silence, and everyone else, they're sleeping on it. But here's the thing. When smart money starts stacking and retail ain't watching, that's when the real plays are made. So yeah, you might think you're early, but the truth is, this might already be the last boarding call before liftoff. Now hold up, because before we talk price predictions or $50 targets, you need to understand what's actually burning. We're not talking about hype or headlines. We're talking about real tokens getting permanently deleted from circulation. Gone, vanished, like watching money evaporate in real time. Every single burn cuts the available supply. And when that happens in a project with actual demand, not meme hype, it's like pressure building inside a rocket. And when it blows, bro, it blows big. Here's the craziest part. No one's talking about it. People are still chasing the next meme coin while Filecoin quietly reduces supply like a ninja. But the whales? Yeah, they see it. They don't chase headlines, they read beta. They've been scooping up FIL in silence, stacking bags while everyone else scrolls TikTok. You know what that means, right? When the big players buy quietly, they're not trying to flip, they're trying to own the future. And that's exactly what's happening here. Think about it. Filecoin isn't just some random altcoin. It's the backbone of decentralized storage. It's literally powering the data layer of Web3, and now AI. Every piece of artificial intelligence needs data to train on, and that data needs a place to live. Filecoin is that home. While everyone's screaming AI tokens are pumping, the real infrastructure coins like FIL are the ones quietly setting up to dominate. It's like owning digital real estate before the city gets built. And yo, this burn update isn't just a supply tweak, it's a signal, a message that says, we're here to stay. Projects that burn this aggressively are usually preparing for something. Maybe new partnerships, maybe an ecosystem push, or maybe a supply shock that makes $50 sound way crazier than it looks right now. Imagine this, supply keeps shrinking, AI demand keeps rising, and whales keep buying. You don't need a PhD in economics to see where that ends. But let's get real for a second. This isn't financial advice, it's reality check time. You ever notice how every 100x story starts when nobody's paying attention? Bitcoin in 2013, Ethereum in 2016, Solana in 2020, all had one thing in common. They looked boring before they exploded. Filecoin right now feels like that calm before the storm moment, when charts go flat, sentiment is dead, and suddenly, boom, volume spikes, people panic buy, and it's game over for the ones who hesitated. That's the emotional roller coaster of crypto. Fear first, FOMO second, regret third. Now let's talk psychology, bro, because markets are just human emotion on charts. When people see green candles, they think they're too late. When they see red candles, they think it's over. But the whales? They move opposite to emotion. They buy fear, they sell euphoria. And guess what? Right now, the fear in Filecoin is fading, and smart money knows it. They're positioning for something big. They can feel that 2026 wave coming, the same energy that turned early ETH believers into millionaires. So yeah, you could scroll past this, laugh it off, say, nah, another hype coin. Or you could pause for a second and look deeper. Because when you burn billions of tokens, cut circulating supply, and add real-world AI demand into the mix, that's not speculation, that's setup. And setups like this don't last forever. The next phase is what I call the awakening. That's when mainstream investors suddenly rediscover a coin that's been quietly building all along. They start saying, wait, Filecoin's doing what now? Burning how much? Partnered with who? And by the time they finish asking those questions, the price chart's already vertical. Happens every cycle, man. But I'll leave you with this thought. Timing beats talent in crypto. You can be the smartest dude in the room, but if you're late, you're just another follower. Filecoin's burn update is like a ticking countdown. And once the market wakes up, it's going to move fast. Now, the real question is, are you positioned for the explosion, or are you going to watch it happen from the sidelines? Because the next part, what's actually burning and why, might just change how you see this entire market. Stay tuned, bro. We're just getting started.
Yo, let me hit you with something wild right off the bat. Billions of Filecoin tokens have straight up vanished, man. Gone. Poof. Like watching smoke disappear in the wind. And I'm not exaggerating. This isn't some clickbait crypto headline. This is real on-chain, verifiable data. We're talking about supply literally melting away in real time, while the market just yawns like nothing happened. But you know who's not sleeping? The whales, the smart money. They're watching this burn like hawks, stacking while everyone else is still trying to understand what's going on. Think about it, bro. Every single FIL burned is one less token available forever. It's supply and demand 101, but with a twist, because when supply starts shrinking this fast, it doesn't just nudge the price, it pressurizes it like a damn volcano ready to blow. Imagine a coin that's already powering the backbone of decentralized data storage. Now combine that with a rapidly decreasing supply. That's not just bullish, that's explosive. Here's what makes this burn so insane. We're not talking about a few million tokens or some fancy deflationary model that burns 0.1% on transactions. Nah, this is systemic. It's built into Filecoin's economy, where unused storage deals, unclaimed rewards, and network penalties all add up to permanent supply destruction. Billions of FIL have been torched since launch. That's not hype, that's code doing its thing. And bro, let me tell you, the charts don't lie. When you zoom out and see the circulating supply dropping, it's like watching a fuse burn down towards something massive. But the crazy part? Retail investors ain't even paying attention. Everyone's distracted by meme coins doing 10x overnight, while the real opportunity is literally burning in the background. That's the kind of setup whales drool over, quiet, unnoticed, but guaranteed to cause chaos later. See, that's the psychology play here. Whales don't chase pumps, they create them. When you're big money, you need liquidity to exit, and that only happens when retail floods in. So what do? They buy during silence, while everyone else scrolls past. They accumulate slowly, invisibly, and then they let news, hype, and FOMO do the rest. It's the same playbook every single cycle, and right now, Filecoin is sitting perfectly in that silent phase. Now think about this burn again, because it's not random. This isn't just, oh cool, less supply. Nah, bro, it's a strategy. When the network burns tokens, it's basically saying, we're tightening the float, we're raising the floor. And that's what drives long-term valuation. Less FIL in circulation means every remaining token carries more weight. It's like a company buying back its own stock before announcing a major deal. The value per share rises simply because there's less to go around. Here's where it gets emotional, though. Imagine being the guy who saw Bitcoin's halving in 2016 and said, whatever. Or the one who ignored Ethereum's burn after EIP 1559 because it wasn't exciting enough. Those people had their shot and they missed it. This Filecoin burn, it's giving that same deja vu energy. Quiet now, but legendary later. And man, the numbers don't lie. Every burn cycle cuts the available supply more and more, while demand slowly creeps up from AI projects, decentralized data hosting, and institutions exploring on-chain storage. It's like a time bomb of scarcity. You can literally feel the pressure building. But let's not get it twisted. This burn didn't happen out of nowhere. There's a reason behind it. Projects don't start burning billions just to flex. Something's brewing in the background. New tokenomics upgrade, ecosystem shift, or maybe prep for institutional entry. The big question is, who initiated this burn and what do they know that we don't? Because in crypto, nothing this massive happens by accident. And you know what's even wilder? Look at the wallets tied to the biggest burns. You'll find patterns, same addresses, same timing, synchronized activity. This ain't retail, this is coordinated. And if you've been in the market long enough, you know that when moves look this structured, it usually means the big boys are setting up for the long game. They're not dumping, they're locking in scarcity. Here's what I keep saying, scarcity plus silence equals opportunity. It's the most dangerous combo in crypto because by the time retail wakes up, it's already too late. This burn event is like the quiet before a hurricane, man. Nobody's feeling the wind yet, but those clouds on the horizon, they're building something massive. And that's where it gets deep, because when you destroy billions of tokens, you're not just changing supply, you're rewriting the economics of an entire ecosystem. You're giving every future buyer a harder entry point, a smaller pie to share. That's how wealth concentration happens, and that's why whales love it. So yeah, while people are laughing at the charts and calling it boring, smart investors are whispering about the burn. They know what's coming. It's not hype, it's math, and math always wins in the end. But here's what's really going to blow your mind. We still don't know who's doing the burning and why now. Is it the devs tightening supply before a big partnership, or is it part of a deeper game plan involving AI storage integration? That's what we're about to dig into next, because understanding who controls the burn tells us where this rocket is headed. Stay locked in, bro, because this next part, it's going to flip your perspective completely.
Bro, let's get real for a sec. The smart money ain't sleeping, and if you think the whales are just chilling while you scroll through crypto TikToks, nah, they're already 5 moves ahead. These dudes ain't playing checkers, they're playing 4D chess, while retail's still out here chasing meme coins. You ever notice how every major crypto move starts quiet? Like before the headlines, before the influencers start screaming "Phil to the moon"? Yeah, that silence, that's where the whales swim. Whales don't move without a reason, man. They're not gambling, they're positioning. And right now, the data shows they're scooping Filecoin like it's 2020 all over again. Wallets holding over 100,000 FIL, up. Exchange balances, down. You don't gotta be a genius to read that. It's accumulation season. It's like when the OGs start buying up the dip and you're still waiting for confirmation from your favorite YouTuber. By the time you see the video, they're already deep in profit. See, here's what's really happening. The whales know that burn update wasn't just a marketing play. It's pure economics. Less supply plus quiet accumulation equals a powder keg waiting to go off. These big players are front-running the narrative. They're scooping cheap FIL before the next retail hype cycle kicks in. And the thing is, they've seen this movie before. Remember Ethereum's EIP 1559? Everyone laughed at the burn update back then until ETH doubled, then tripled. Same energy, different blockchain. Now, you gotta understand something about whales. They don't chase green candles, they buy red. They move when everyone's scared. When Twitter's quiet, when fear is maxed out, that's when they load up. And right now, FIL's price action looks like a sleeper. Low volatility, steady volume uptick, slow outflows from exchanges. That's not random, that's orchestration, that's patience. And look, I'm not saying whales can see the future, but they do have access to information and insight that retail doesn't. On-chain data, private deals, storage demand metrics from Filecoin's enterprise partners, the stuff you and I won't see on CoinMarketCap. They know something's cooking, and they're getting ready before the noise hits. The question is, will you be the one watching from the sidelines again when it happens? There's a phrase in crypto that always hits. By the time it feels safe to buy, it's already too late. And that's where we're at. Filecoin's network just burned billions of tokens, and the whales are quietly positioning. Every major breakout starts with disbelief. And right now, disbelief is everywhere. People think FIL's dead weight, but the smart money? They're betting on the comeback. And let's be honest, we've seen this pattern play out before. Bitcoin at 3K, Solana under $1, Chainlink before the Oracle hype. Every single time, whales front-run the retail crowd, the market shrugs for a bit, and then boom. One catalyst, and it's liftoff. You can literally see it in the data. Whale wallets getting fatter, supply shrinking, liquidity tightening. The setup's there, bro. You just gotta have the patience to see it. Because whales ain't emotional. They don't care about FUD or clickbait headlines. They move based on math, metrics, and momentum. You think they're worried about the market dipping a few percent? No, they're thinking 2 years out. They're accumulating for the next cycle, not the next week. And if you're playing this game short term, you're playing their game, not yours. And that's where most people lose. Retail keeps trying to outsmart the big money without realizing the big money is the game. The burn update was the signal, and the whale activity is the confirmation. The narrative's still quiet, but not for long. Because the moment mainstream realizes Filecoin isn't just some old storage coin, and that real-world data, AI, cloud storage, decentralized apps all need what Filecoin provides, this chart won't stay quiet. The whales are positioning because they see what's coming. But yo, what exactly are they seeing that the rest of us don't?
What's the real inside story behind these silent moves? Because if they're loading up this heavy, there's got to be more under the surface than just a burn update. Next up, we're diving deep into that question. What do these whales know that retail traders completely miss? Buckle up, because this next part might just flip the way you see Filecoin forever.
Yo, listen up. Everyone's losing their minds over this Filecoin burn, right? Billions wiped off the chart, supply melting down, whales stacking bags. But here's the thing. There's one chart nobody's talking about. Not Twitter, not YouTube, not even the so-called on-chain experts. And bro, that's where the real story is hiding. Because this one metric, the one that's flying completely under the radar, might be the key to why some insiders are whispering about a $50 FIL by 2026. I'm talking about storage utilization, the actual data demand on the Filecoin network. Not hype, not tokenomics, not speculation. Real use case. And if you pull up that on-chain data, what you'll see is wild. Filecoin's total active storage deals have been quietly climbing while the token price has been flat. That's divergence, bro. Real-world demand rising while market value's asleep. And every time that happens in crypto, boom, a lagging price catches up hard. But here's where it gets crazy. The data shows an uptick not from small users, but from institutional-level clients. We're talking AI datasets, research archives, decentralized app storage, massive file bundles that traditional clouds can't handle cheaply. That's why FIL's burn update hits different. It's not just token destruction, it's setting up a deflationary model right before a real-world use case explosion, like Ethereum before NFTs blew up. You feel that? It's the calm before the narrative storm. And I know, most people don't even check this kind of metric. They're staring at price charts, RSI, MACD, all the usual noise. Meanwhile, the real signal is in those boring-looking graphs showing network capacity, deal success rates, retrieval speed improvements. That's where the alpha is hiding, man. The whales see it. They've been seeing it. That's why they're accumulating while the retail crowd keeps tweeting FIL's dead. Now let me drop something heavy on you. The new burn wasn't just about cutting supply. It's a setup for what's coming next. Data monetization in an AI-driven world. Filecoin's network isn't just some random decentralized storage playground. It's evolving into an AI data backbone. Think about it. AI needs massive, secure, decentralized storage for model training, data retrieval, and scaling. Centralized servers can't handle that long-term. Decentralized storage like FIL? Perfect fit. So while everyone's out there talking about dog coins and random airdrops, the quiet builders, the engineers, the devs, the AI startups, they're already moving toward Filecoin. You don't see it in the price yet, but you can see it in the partnerships, the deal sizes, and the uptick in long-term storage contracts. It's like watching the foundation of a skyscraper being built underground. Invisible now, unstoppable later. And yo, let me be real. This is that hidden signal moment most traders sleep on, because history keeps repeating itself. Remember when no one cared about Chainlink until DeFi blew up, or when no one talked about Solana until NFTs made it explode? That's where FIL's sitting right now. Quiet, undervalued, underestimated. But the underlying data is screaming a different story. You ever wonder why those early insiders always seem to magically know when to jump in? It's because they're watching stuff like this. Data growth, storage utilization, transaction gas burn patterns, and when those start trending up while price is sideways, that's a textbook early accumulation phase. We're in it right now. The crazy part is, this burn update has shifted Filecoin's economics forever. Every new deal adds utility, every burn cuts supply, and every whale purchase locks up liquidity. It's like pressure building under the surface. You won't feel it daily, but when it blows, it's massive. And once that narrative flips, once mainstream realizes what's actually happening under the hood, retail will FOMO in at $30 or $40, wondering how they missed it. That's the pattern, man. The data never lies. It just waits for people to notice. And the ones who do, they're the ones stacking before the noise.
So while everyone's sleeping on Filecoin's price, the network's quietly becoming one of the most used decentralized infrastructures in the world. But before you start thinking this is just another crypto use case story, you gotta understand why Filecoin even matters in this AI-powered future. Because what's coming next isn't just about storage, it's about how data itself becomes the next digital gold. Next up, we're diving deep into why Filecoin might be the backbone of the AI revolution and how it could completely change the way we think about crypto utility forever.
Yo, real talk? AI ain't just some tech buzzword anymore, bro. It's the new gold rush, and the ones who control the data, they control everything. Every chat GPT prompt, every image generator, every algorithm, it all runs on one thing: data. And here's the wild part. That data needs to live somewhere. It needs storage, secure, scalable, and decentralized. And that's where Filecoin slides in like a quiet giant. Because while everyone's drooling over AI tokens and chatbots, File's over here building the backbone those AI models actually need to exist. Storage is the new oil, and Filecoin's the refinery. See, AI is hungry, man. It eats data 24/7. Training models, petabytes. Running apps, terabytes. Updating neural networks, constant flow. Traditional servers like AWS and Google Cloud, they're already feeling the heat. Expensive, centralized, and getting riskier. The next-gen AI ecosystem can't rely on that forever. It needs decentralized systems that scale without crashing, that keep data safe without a middleman. That's the exact problem Filecoin was built to solve years ago. And now, that future is finally catching up. And you know what's funny? Most retail investors don't even see this play coming. They're stuck chasing meme coins while the real money is moving quietly into the infrastructure layer, the boring stuff that makes everything else possible. Bro, the next AI explosion isn't going to be who makes the best chatbot. It's going to be who controls the storage pipelines behind those bots, the data supply chain. And Filecoin? It's already sitting at the intersection of decentralized storage and AI compute integration. Look deeper, you'll start noticing how FIL's ecosystem is slowly aligning with AI-driven projects. There are already pilot programs linking decentralized compute nodes with Filecoin's storage architecture. That means instead of AI models running entirely on centralized servers, they'll soon run on a mesh of decentralized nodes, storing, training, and deploying from systems like Filecoin. That's huge! It's not just storage anymore, it's the infrastructure for the next generation of machine learning. Now think about what happens when this connection matures. You've got AI devs all over the world needing storage that's cheaper, faster, and more transparent. Filecoin's network says, yo, we got you. Here's infinite space, encrypted, verifiable, and decentralized. You can't fake that kind of scalability. It's built for the long game. And the best part? Every time those AI apps store something, that's real usage on the network. That's FIL demand. That's revenue. That's burn pressure. And here's the FOMO moment. Imagine a year from now when AI becomes fully mainstream, integrated into every app, every device, every workflow. You think all that data is going to live on some centralized server farm? Nah, bro. The demand's too massive. The world's going to need decentralized systems like Filecoin just to keep the flow running. And the investors who see that early, they're the ones who catch the real 100x while the rest scroll through Twitter asking what they missed. But here's the emotional punch. This is that same kind of turning point we saw with Ethereum before DeFi, before NFTs, before everyone knew what gas fees even meant. Filecoin's been sleeping, building in silence, while the rest of the market screamed next big thing. But in reality, it's been setting up for this, the age of AI data dominance. And if you don't believe it, just look at how AI startups are spending right now. Billions pouring into model training, infrastructure, and storage optimization. It's not the hype coins that'll survive this wave, it's the ones providing real utility, real use. Filecoin is literally selling the oil that keeps AI's engine running. That's not speculation, that's supply and demand at work in real time. Whales already know it. They've seen the metrics. That's why they're quietly loading up now, while the mainstream keeps sleeping. Because once the AI narrative fully clicks with decentralized storage, there's no going back. And when that day hits, you'll see every influencer calling it the next big thing. But by then, the real ones will already be sitting on bags.
So if you're watching this thinking, damn, maybe I missed it, you haven't. You're just early to the connection between AI and decentralized storage, a connection that could redefine the entire crypto landscape in 2026 and beyond. And that brings us to something even bigger, bro, because once AI and decentralized storage collide, something crazy happens. Network value explodes. But what if that explosion's already started quietly, under the radar? Next up, let's talk about what that hidden early-stage explosion looks like and how to spot it before the world catches on.
Yo, bro, let's be real. The second you start threatening the system, the big dogs start growling. That's how it always goes in crypto. You build something that shifts control away from centralized power, and boom, here comes the SEC knocking like, hey buddy, we need to talk. Filecoin went through that storm, man. Straight up heat from regulators who didn't like the idea of decentralized storage eating into billion-dollar cloud empires. But here's the plot twist. Filecoin didn't die. It didn't fold. It adapted. And that's the mark of a survivor in this game. When the SEC starts circling, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who's strong enough to take the hit and keep building. Most projects crumble. They panic, shut down, or settle quietly. But Filecoin, it kept pushing updates, improving its ecosystem, rolling out real-world use cases. That's what separates a hype coin from an actual infrastructure project. You can't fake resilience, bro. And every time the SEC fires a warning shot and a crypto project survives it, that survival builds credibility. It earns scars that tell investors, yeah, we've been tested and we're still standing. Now think about that for a second. Filecoin's not just some random token floating around. It's the foundation for decentralized storage that could one day compete with giants like Amazon, Google, or Microsoft. You think those guys want a decentralized alternative rising up? Nah, man. There's too much money, too much control, too many data monopolies at stake. So when regulators stepped in to question Filecoin, it wasn't about compliance. It was about pressure. Pressure to slow it down before it got too powerful. But here's the twist. That pressure ended up being the best thing that could have happened. Because when you get grilled by the SEC and still keep your ecosystem alive, investors start to notice. The market sees strength. It says, yo, if they can survive that kind of fire, maybe this ain't some fly-by-night token. And that, my friend, is when confidence starts to build. Whales don't chase hype, they chase resilience. And Filecoin proved it's got that. The FOMO angle here is wild. While retail investors were panicking over regulation headlines, whales were buying the fear. Because they knew something the headlines didn't tell you. That once the SEC heat cools off, the same token that survived the storm becomes a magnet for institutional money. Why? Because now it's battle-tested. The risk drops and the upside explodes. It's the same story we've seen with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. Every time a project faces the SEC, survives, and keeps delivering, it gets more legit. And here's the emotional punch. People love comeback stories. The market thrives on underdogs that rise from chaos. Filecoin has got that narrative baked in. It's not the loudest coin, it's not always trending, but it's consistent. It's been through FUD, regulatory tension, price crashes, and it's still here. That alone builds psychological trust, bro. Because deep down, investors know if you've been through the fire and you're still standing, the next bull run is gonna hit different. But let's talk about power for a sec. You know why regulators always push back? Because decentralization means loss of control. When data, money, or influence shifts from centralized hands to the crowd, the system starts shaking. That's why projects like Filecoin scare them. It's not about the token price, it's about the fact that millions of users can now store data without relying on big tech middlemen. That's real disruption, and no regulator in the world likes losing control of that level of power. Still, Filecoin didn't go silent. They played it smart. Transparency, partnerships, compliance updates, slow but steady moves.
That's how you play long-term survival in a space where the rules are still being written. They didn't go to war, they outlasted the storm. And here's where curiosity kicks in. Now that the SEC couldn't kill it, what's left that can? The project's decentralized, it's globally distributed, and it's got real use cases. It's not some random DeFi farm that vanishes overnight. The more regulators push, the stronger the core community becomes. Every lawsuit, every headline, every dip, it all hardens the ecosystem. And you can feel it now, right? That quiet confidence building under the surface. The kind that only comes when you know you've survived your worst days. That's the kind of energy that sets the stage for massive upside. The revenge run, when a project that everyone doubted suddenly rips past all-time highs while the world scrambles to understand what happened. Filecoin's got that setting up. So, if the SEC, with all its resources, lawyers, and threats, couldn't shut it down, you gotta ask yourself, what possibly could? The answer might just shock you, because the next phase isn't about regulation anymore. It's about momentum. Next up, we'll talk about how that unstoppable momentum could push Filecoin toward that insane $50 target and what exactly could fuel that breakout when the stars finally align.
Yo, bro, let's get real for a second. $50 Filecoin sounds insane, right? Like one of those wild crypto dreams people laugh at in the bear market. But here's the catch. Everything sounds crazy before it happens. Bitcoin at $1,000 sounded impossible. Ethereum at $4,000? Unreal. Solana hitting triple digits? Nobody saw that coming, but they all had one thing in common: a perfect storm of low supply, whale accumulation, and a shift in narrative. And right now, that same setup is forming around Filecoin. So yeah, $50 doesn't sound so crazy when you zoom out and connect the dots. Think about it. The burn update literally changed the economics of FIL forever. Billions of tokens gone, supply shrinking while demand slowly builds through real-world utility. You don't need to be a Wall Street genius to know what happens when demand grows and supply drops. It's basic math, bro. And if whales keep scooping like they've been doing, the float keeps tightening. The market starts running out of liquidity, and that's when prices do wild things. The kind of parabolic stuff people call luck when they're too late to buy in. Now let's talk psychology for a sec, because crypto runs on emotion just as much as math. Once the narrative hits mainstream and people start hearing Filecoin's the backbone of AI storage, or FIL's supply keeps burning, that emotional wave kicks in. Fear of missing out, that pure adrenaline rush of seeing green candles everywhere. Retail starts chasing. That's how we've seen coins 10x overnight. It's not just fundamentals, it's belief. And the thing is, Filecoin already has the foundation. It just needs that trigger moment to flip the script. And bro, let's not act like $50 means a miracle. FIL already hit over $200 during the 2021 hype. Back then, there was no burn, no AI narrative, no institutional attention. It was pure speculation. Now we've got a leaner supply, a more mature market, and real infrastructure in play. That's a totally different equation. Even a move back to half its old highs would make $50 look conservative. People forget how fast momentum shifts in this space. But here's what's got me hyped: the accumulation data. The on-chain numbers don't lie. The big wallets, the same ones that dumped during 2022, have been quietly reloading for months. You don't move millions in FIL unless you see something coming. They're not emotional traders, they're strategic. They're betting on time, not luck. That's conviction money, and when conviction money moves, the charts follow. Now let's factor in the burn pressure. Every new storage deal eats up more supply, every whale bag removes tokens from circulation, and every network upgrade increases utility. That's a compounding cycle. Less supply, more demand, rising price. And it's not just hype, it's sustainable. When those fundamentals align with a bullish macro cycle, we could easily see FIL blast past that $50 mark. It won't happen overnight, but the setup's there. It's like loading a spring. Quiet tension, silent energy, and then boom. The emotional side of this story hits hard too, because this isn't just about numbers, it's about redemption. Filecoin went from being written off to becoming one of the few altcoins actually solving a real-world problem. That's power. That's resilience. People love an underdog story, and crypto eats that up.
Every big move in history started with people doubting first. You know that moment when you see a chart running and you're like, damn, I knew I should have bought. That's what $50 FIL could be. The moment everyone realizes they slept on the signal right in front of them. But remember, don't get me wrong, it's not guaranteed. The market's wild, unpredictable, emotional, but that's exactly what makes it so addicting. The idea that something you saw before everyone else could 5x, 10x, maybe more. That's the chase, bro. That's why people stay up watching charts at 3 a.m. That's why whales buy dips in silence. Because when the stars align, burn updates, whale accumulation, regulatory survival, AI hype, the market doesn't ask for permission. It just moves. So yeah, $50 might sound like a dream, but it's a dream built on data, demand, and patience. And every bull run needs a coin that shocks the world, the one nobody saw coming until it's too late. Filecoin could be that coin. The setup's here, the pieces are falling into place, and history's already shown us what happens when fundamentals meet hype. But before you start picturing that $50 target, remember this. Every big run has a shadow. Every parabolic move hides risk beneath the glow. So before you go all in, you gotta understand the other side of this story, the dark side that could wreck the unprepared. Next up, we're diving into that reality check. The risks, the traps, and the mistakes that could turn that $50 dream into a nightmare if you don't see it coming.
Yo, real talk? This is where most traders wreck themselves. They see a green candle and think it's their ticket to the moon. Next thing you know, they're buying the top, praying on the way down, and blaming the market. But the truth? The market didn't play them, they played themselves. The crypto game is brutal, bro. It rewards the patient and destroys the greedy. Everyone wants the next 100x coin, but almost no one wants to understand timing. That's the killer difference. You can buy the best project in the world, but if your timing's trash, you'll still lose everything. And Filecoin is no exception. Now here's where it gets real. Filecoin's burn update might sound like a golden ticket, but if you jump in when everyone's screaming buy, 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 that's when the sharks eat. When Twitter's hyped, when YouTubers are making thumbnails with rocket emojis and $100 soon, that's your red flag, not your entry point. Every bull run looks the same. The early believers buy quietly, the mid crowd hesitates, and the late crowd FOMOs in when the candles are vertical. And guess what happens next? The whales dump. Prices crash, panic floods the chat rooms, and that's when smart money buys again. You want to know what's even more dangerous? Emotion. Fear makes you sell low, greed makes you buy high. It's that simple. That's the cycle 99% of traders never escape. They see green candles and feel invincible. They see red candles and think the world's ending. But the real players, they stay calm, zoom out, and understand the long game. And here's something nobody wants to admit. Every project, even a solid one like Filecoin, has its risk zone. It's not about how hyped it is or how big the community sounds. It's about timing and volume psychology. When retail starts flooding in after big news like massive burn update or partnership reveal, that's when the price looks shiny, but it's sitting on a cliff edge. It's like the casino effect. You walk in thinking you're different, but the house always wins. In crypto, the house is the whales and early investors. They've been in since Filecoin was a $5 story, not a $50 dream. They're waiting for you to buy their bags. Brutal? Yeah. True? 100%. But here's the flip side. If you're smart, patient, and emotionally stable, this risk zone is also your opportunity zone. Every crash plants the seed for the next pump. Every panic sell creates entry points for disciplined traders. That's how you flip the script. Because when the hype fades, when influencers move on, and when the noise dies down, that's when the real accumulation happens. That's where legends are built quietly. That's where 10x setups start forming while everyone else is licking their wounds. The people who win big in crypto aren't the loudest. They're the ones who stay cool when others lose their minds. They don't chase, they plan. They don't FOMO, they forecast. So, yeah, Filecoin's burn might be massive, the fundamentals look strong, the ecosystem's growing, and the long-term story makes sense. But that doesn't mean it's a free ride. The market doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about liquidity. Remember, the top never looks like the top when you're in it.
Everyone's bullish, every chart looks just ready to explode, and your gut's telling you it's now or never. That's when the trap is set. So, the next time you see a parabolic move, don't ask how high can it go, ask who's selling into this, because someone always is. And if you're thinking long-term, 2025, 2026, the smart move isn't to chase green candles. It's to wait for the panic, for the red days, for the tweets calling it dead. That's when the next wave of millionaires start buying. Because the truth is, the burn won't save you from bad timing, but smart timing, that's what changes everything. So, yeah, most traders lose everything in this zone, but the few who survive, they don't just make profits, they build wealth. So what's the smart move for 2025-2026 investors? Let's talk strategy, not fantasy.
Yo, let's be real for a second. Smart money doesn't chase hype, it creates it. While most people wait for headlines and TikTok calls, the real ones are already moving in silence. They see patterns before they trend. They study the burn mechanics, whale wallets, on-chain signals, and when retail starts screaming moon, they're already deep in profit. That's how this game works. And if you want to play it right, this is your wake-up call. Because right now, Filecoin isn't just another crypto chart, it's a setup. The burn's kicking in, supply shrinking, AI demands exploding, and storage is becoming digital gold. The same tech that was overlooked in the last bull run is now exactly what the world needs. Every AI, every decentralized app, every Web3 project, they all need one thing: storage. And Filecoin is selling that space like it's prime real estate on the metaverse. The smart money sees this before the crowd does. They're already accumulating quietly, watching retail argue over meme coins. They know what's coming. Because when supply falls and demand surges, there's only one direction price goes: up. That's the math, that's the cycle, and that's what the whales are betting on. But here's the thing, not everyone will make it. Most people will wait for the next pump, then panic buy when it's too late. They'll talk big when FIL is trending again. By then, the move's already done. The ones who win are the ones who position early. They don't fumble when it's quiet, they load up when everyone else is distracted. You gotta think like an architect, not a gambler. Build your position before the structure rises. Filecoin's burn is cutting off future supply, permanently. Every token gone is one less chance for latecomers. Meanwhile, demand from AI, decentralized cloud, and global data use is shooting up like crazy. If that's not a setup for something massive, what is? Let's put it in perspective. When Ethereum started burning tokens after EIP 1559, everyone ignored it at first. Then boom, supply shock, price pump, everyone scrambling. The same mechanics are now playing out with Filecoin. And unlike meme projects, this one's backed by real-world utility, actual demand, actual storage, actual infrastructure. It's not hype, it's evolution. And that's what separates smart money from noise chasers. They don't follow hype, they follow logic, utility, and timing. Filecoin has got all three right now, and the clock's ticking. The 2025 to 2026 window could be that moment where those who saw the signs early get rewarded beyond imagination. But ask yourself, are you going to be one of the ones who watches from the sidelines saying, I should have bought when it was low? Or are you going to be the one in the move, the one who believed before the noise? Because history always repeats itself. Early believers win, late chasers lose. It's that simple. The crypto market doesn't reward noise, it rewards conviction. And Filecoin right now is screaming opportunity. It's not about guessing, it's about recognizing what's in front of you before everyone else does. So yeah, the end game is simple. Don't chase hype, position smart. Filecoin's story isn't done, it's just heating up. The question is, will you be a spectator or a player? Because when the next bull run hits and FIL starts running past everyone's predictions, you'll remember this moment, the one where you had the choice to move or wait. So if you're vibing with this, smash that like button, drop your FIL prediction down below, and let's see who's got those diamond hands for 2026.